Welcome to Tamara Lynette Tells. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars. Season 10 of Married at First Sight in Washington, D.C. premiered in January of 2020, but the couples actually got married in July of 2019. So it's almost been 3 years since these strangers took their little leap of faith. This season featured Brandon and Taylor, Zach and Mindy, Katie and Derek, Michael and Meka, and Jessica and Austin. Like most seasons, this one had its fair share of drama. Remember Zach not moving in with Mindy but having a sketchy relationship with her best friend, or Katie hating on Derek's dreams, or Michael lying about being a yoga instructor, and Brandon getting upset whenever he had to be on camera. And that's just to name a few. I mean, the drama was pretty much nonstop. So where are they now? Well, the women and Derek of the show seem to stay in contact and have remained friends. But let's take a look at what all of these folks have been up to since the camera stopped rolling. On decision day, they said no, then later landed in jail over an incident that happened at a local club, and they talked about this during the reunion special. And around the end of the season, this couple became a little suspect. Were these two paired because they were the perfect match, or because the show was in a pinch? Someone who claims to be one of Brandon's groomsmen wrote this comment. Farce. This year, Brandon and two other grooms match backed out 30 days prior to shooting. Taylor was a last-minute addition, which is why so much of her background was not investigated. Suspended license, couch surfer, lives with mom, not a scientist, not getting a PhD or master's. I could go on. Now, according to this person, 3 of the 5 brides were not the original picks. Now, I can only speculate on who the other brides might be because, with the exception of Jessica, the remaining 3 all seem to be mismatches. As for Taylor, in April of 2020, shortly after the season ended, Taylor posted this on her Instagram. I'll read you a little taste of it. But honestly, being a part of this show was the worst, most stressful experience I ever had in my life. I barely watched. So much happened off camera or that the show didn't display. It's hard when you have to continue to relive it. And I'm healing from it, becoming better from it, accepting it as a learning experience, and moving on to getting back to the positive, carefree, happy person I was before. So with that said, sorry if my page is a disappointment. I'm not really the social media queen he tried to make me out to be. LOL. And Taylor doesn't seem to post more than average on Instagram since the show ended anyway. It's not unusual for her to have several weeks between posts. Since the show ended, she has posted many bikini pics from her various vacations to the Dominican Republic, Colombia, St. Martin, Bahamas, Cabo San Lucas, Tulum, and Costa Rica, to name a few. For work, she's a research program coordinator for Johns Hopkins University. As for her love life, she seems to have found love again. It's not 100% sure she's still with this gentleman, however, because she's decided to keep her relationship private. She captioned this photo, "Love finds you when you stop looking." As I mentioned earlier, she seems to have kept in touch with all of the brides from this season. She and Derek still keep in touch as well. They partied earlier this year together at the Project Glow Festival in Washington, D.C. Now, Brandon hated the cameras and social media during the show, and apparently he still does. He has pretty much fallen off the face of the internet earth. After the show, this photo of him hanging out with his fellow castmate Michael surfaced. Otherwise, all I can tell you about Brandon is he still works in the beer industry. Now, these two were a surprise yes on decision day. Katie wasn't very kind to Derek, to say the least, and their relationship seemed a little toxic. However, by the time the reunion rolled around, they could barely stand each other and were broken up. Since the show ended, Katie moved from Washington, D.C. to Mississippi. She found new love on the Bumble app with an Air Force pilot named Brandon. Not to be confused with her ex-boyfriend she got busy with while she was married to Derek. Now, in December of 2020, after a short courtship, Brandon proposed to Katie. If you're trying to do the math, that's 1.5 years after she married Derek. And she said yes to his proposal. To announce the news of her engagement, Katie posted this message on her Instagram. If you told me at the beginning of 2020 that this was how it would end, I'd never believe you. Although this year has definitely not been easy for anyone, for me, it's been the best one yet. This year brought me my best friend, my person, the love of my life, and the person I'll continue to choose forever. Life is so unpredictable and so amazing. I can't wait to see what 2021 has in store, but mostly I can't wait to be your wife. 6 months later, in June of 2021, they had what looks like a beautiful country-themed wedding. Now here are a few highlights from their special day.
I'll keep you safe, I'll give you my everything. Even if we're falling down, even if we're falling down.
Now, Ms. Taylor flew in to witness the nuptials. It appears as though Taylor was the only MAFS alum in attendance. Taylor posted this picture, which I believe to be her new love, with his face covered up by a little heart action going on there. In March of 2022, Katie posted this announcement. We've got a baby boy on the way. Baby Eaves making his debut early September, and we couldn't be more excited. Okay, so it sounds like Katie is well on her way of living her relationship dreams. Now, Derek was a dreamer on the show and has since followed his dream of traveling. A few months after taping the reunion special in October of 2020, Derek posted this on his Instagram. Starting this weekend, I will be spending the next 2 weeks road tripping across America. So please send me any recommendations for any of the places listed below. Nashville, Chicago, Kansas City, Denver, Rocky National Park, Zion, Grand Canyon, Joshua Tree, San Diego. The following year, in March of 2021, he visited Japan. Good for you, Derek. You really seem to be living out your travel dreams. Now, as for his job, this is what he has to say. To those who have always wondered what I do, I build flight simulators for these bad boys. He's also like a master at carving pumpkins. Here are a couple of the pumpkins he's carved. These are like crazy spectacular. As for being in a relationship, he doesn't post often on social media, but the photos he has posted don't appear to have him booed up. These two were the only couple on the show that seemed to be a good match from the start. They said yes on decision day and are still married as of the date of this video. Now, as for her take on their marriage, Jessica said, people often comment that we're the perfect couple, and while we appreciate the support and kind words, we're not perfect. Marriage and love takes work, but we're learning together and trying to have fun at it. Thank you, Austin, for going through this journey. In the fall of 2020, they purchased their first home together. Justin got a new job, and Jessica moved up in the ranks of her job. Now, during all the madness of 2020, Jessica was one of the nurses who worked on the front lines with the infected. In July of 2021, Jessica and Austin announced that they had a baby on the way and they were featured in People. Now, I'm not sure if they were in the magazine or on the website only. Now, she and her sister were truly twinning by being pregnant at the exact same time, and their due dates were only a month apart. Was this a coordinated effort? Your guess is as good as mine. Austin and Jessica had a baby shower in October of 2021. Then, in the following month, on November 3rd, Jessica gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Weston. A month later in December, Jessica's sister gave birth to a little girl and named her Everly. Jessica posted this video of the cousins and captioned it, "Growing up, we did everything with our cousins. So excited to watch them have the same experience. These two are a month apart, with Weston born on November 3rd and Everly on December 6th. As of the date of this video, Weston is now 7 months old. Austin and Jessica seem to be happy and enjoying being a family. This is genuinely a married at first sight success story. Now, these two were anything but a perfect match. Zach was not attracted to Mindy from first sight, refused to move into their shared apartment, and didn't treat her kindly, as if it were her fault they were matched. So again, they were married in July of 2019. In December of 2020, Mindy became a temporary resident of Playa del Carmen, Mexico. She lived there for months in search of an eat, pray, love experience. Her intention was to be there solo. However, after living there for a couple of weeks, she learned that an old ice skating friend of hers lived only a couple of blocks away. So, fortunately, this friend and her husband were able to give Mindy tips and keep her company when she needed it. Speaking of keeping her company, Miss Meka flew over to pay her fellow alum a visit in paradise. In this video, Mindy talks a little bit about her move to Mexico.
So yeah, I'm going to be living here for at least 6 months, and I love it. Luckily, I've saved. So being 35 now, I've worked my entire life, and I've saved to. Actually, I thought I'd probably have like a family and kids now, but since I don't, life has taken me in another direction. And so I'm doing this instead. Some people have said, oh yeah, just because you have your little blue check mark on Instagram, you can just go live wherever you want for free. And that is definitely not the case.
Now, as of the date of my video, she no longer lives in Mexico. She moved back to the States. And since she's been back, it looks like she took a little moment from ice skating in exchange for some time in the mud. She competed in a Tough Mudder. A Tough Mudder is an endurance-based 10 to 12 mile obstacle course in the mud. It's a huge accomplishment to finish one of these Tough Mudders. Now, as for her love life, well, in January of 2022, she flew back to Mexico to meet up with MAFS alum Orion from season 13. While they appeared to have fun and shared pictures of each other climbing a tree, they didn't seem to make a love connection. However, she seems to be staying positive and dancing her way through life. After the season ended, Zach and Katie admitted to having a little date night with drinks, claiming it was just to chat about the season. Since then, Zach launched his own training company. Now, you may recall that Zach's communication skills were quite confusing and he often spoke in circles. Allow me, if you will, to read to you from his website how he explains his company. Built upon a foundation of precision training, realistic nutrition, and an uncompromising vogue, TCA provides today's competitors with a platform to access a lifestyle personally tailored to his 21st century athletic capabilities. Integrating technology and performance-based responsiveness, TCA provides the resources needed to achieve optimal levels of functionality, compatibility, and durability, fueled to create a physique that allows you to live a flexible yet competitive lifestyle. TCA knows your optimal body is not developed through predictable methods, but by truly redefining what it means to be an athlete. So, if you ask me, sounds like his company serves up some pretty hearty word salads. He pretty much said a whole bunch of nothing here, which is pretty much the Zach way, isn't it? So, if you're interested in being his client and want to know what he offers in his sessions, well, you're not going to find that information on his website, silly goose. I guess those who need to know just know. And as for other areas of his life, every now and then he'll post a story with friends. Otherwise, his feed is filled with pictures of himself modeling or posing with no shirt on, as well as pictures and videos of himself working out. Meka and Michael struggled because, well, Michael lied about anything and everything, from being a yoga instructor to what he had for dinner. After the cameras went away, this is what Meka had to say about her experience on the show. Through the ups and downs, I'm grateful to have gotten the opportunity to experience something so unique. I learned so much about myself, how to handle situations better, and what I can do to make my next relationship better. Being filmed all the time is not an easy task by any means, and there were definitely moments that I'm not proud of. There were situations I really wish I could have approached differently, and most importantly, I wish I hadn't allowed anyone to get me to the level of frustration that was seen on the show. But even with all of my shortcomings and downfalls, I am very proud of how I handled my marriage overall. I'm proud that I didn't allow myself to be manipulated, gaslighted, or a victim. I'm proud that I spoke up about the things that bothered me. And most of all, I'm proud of myself for knowing my self-worth. It took me so long to get to a point where I could confidently say what I bring to the table and what I deserve. So it's amazing to see that manifest itself in my marriage. And to all the women that are questioning their self-worth because of what a man has told them, know your worth, queen. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. Later, she posted a video where she explained in great detail about her annulment hearing with Michael and their lawyers. As far as I know, she and Michael and Taylor and Brandon are the only couples who have been granted an annulment after appearing on the show. Anyway, if you would like to check out that video, I will link it at the end of this one. If you haven't heard her tell the story, it's a good one and worth watching. Since the show, she has traveled to Bermuda, Thailand, Hawaii, New Orleans, Houston, Mexico, and even Jamaica, but not the trip that Michael promised her. We all know that one wasn't real. She's had some great birthday parties, and recently she was spotted with season 9's Iris. They went plant shopping together. All in all, Meka seems to have many reasons to smile these days. As for Michael, he posted a public apology to Meka for his behavior on the show. Michael is now remarried. He married an Army veteran named Shay in September of 2021. I created an entire video dedicated to their courtship. I read the entire apology he wrote to Meka and included a video interview that he and Shay did together where she asked him fan questions like regarding his stint on the show. I will link that video as well at the end of this one. So Shay has a daughter that is around 6 years old, and Michael has seemed to embrace his role as being, in his words, a girl dad. Now, as for Shay, after going public with their relationship, she has received a lot of hate about her decision to marry a man that so many love to hate. She has a blog, so she hopped on it to address some of the common questions from viewers of the show. I'll read you some of the highlights. Were you his girlfriend while he was on the show? If so, that's effed up. If not, how did you two meet? Absolutely not. Hashtag fake news. Mike and I met at a networking event in late 2019. He was persistent, but so was my no. My focus was my daughter, work, and school. Plus, he did this whole perched lip thing that was super unattractive, so it was a hard effing pass for me. Mike kept at it, and in May 2020, I gave in and connected with him on Instagram. We made our relationship official in November of 2020. We had some hiccups because Mike was a hoe, but we made it through. Thank you, Jesus. We were married on September 4th, 2021 in Washington, DC. Is Mike an habitual liar? Does he lie to you? Yes, he is a habitual liar. No, he does not lie to me. Mike is in a program similar to Alcoholics Anonymous in which he has to make a conscious effort each day and every day to remain truthful despite the circumstances or consequence. Mike has been enabled for years, which is an entirely different conversation, and he is now understanding the importance of accountability. Mike does not lie to me. That's a condition of our marriage and his treatment. Does he have a job? Because we know damn well he won't know yoga instructor. Yes, he legitimately has a legal W-2 receiving job. I won't disclose where he works. Now, was his ass a yoga instructor? Hell no. Look, that man is too thick around the middle and wide around the side to be trying to hit that downward dog or mountain position. With that said, I believe he loves yoga and wants to improve, but that is as far as it goes. Did you marry Mike for fame and money? What fame? What money? Listen, I have been blessed in my career and come from a wonderful family. The only thing I gained from Mike is a headache, tough skin, and orgasms. The assumption that I needed him for a come up, frankly, is offensive. I'm a bad bee, excuse my language, on my own, and a man does not define me. Thank you kindly. So it seems like Miss Shay has no problem putting Mike in check. Overall, he seems to be working on himself, along with working on being a better husband and a girl dad.